Hello guys, what's up? It's Will back once again, and we're here for another Dana White's Tuesday night Contender Series predictions. Coming off, the first 2 weeks have been pretty good for myself with the predictions of that, but I feel they were a little bit easier than what this week's card is. I think this week's card is a little bit harder to look into a little bit. Been watching some fights of some guys with not too many fights that you can watch. So this week to me, I think there could be, I don't know what the betting odds are, but I think there could be some more betting, bigger dogs come through than what we've kind of previously seen here. So hopefully we can keep the train running. I don't think I've got anything wrong yet as of yet, which is pretty nice. So hopefully we can keep it going here. But I feel this is going to be a harder week to predict, honestly, because it's hard to get a read on some fighters that you can't really watch much on. So if you could like the video, comment, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that sub button. We're still on the mission to 4,000, to try and hit 4,000 subs, and hopefully we can really have a good card here. So I'm going to get into it. This fight actually crept up. This was supposed to be a fight that was supposed to happen week 1, and then there was COVID issues, and there was a whole load of things. Kevin Syler against Kenneth Cross. I think I'm going to lean Kevin Syler, even though that Kenneth Cross has, I think, fought the better opposition in my opinion. He's came back, he's lost a couple of fights, but to me, I think he's fought the better opposition. You've got Syler, who fights out of the Bolivian kind of fight scene, kind of Latin American fight scene. He's moved himself to American Top Team, and now I think he's at the kind of Sunrise Academy, which is like an affiliate of the American Top Team Academy. The gym there. Kevin Syler, to me, he's definitely a guy who's very, very strong on top and in submissions. That you can see that. But again, he's fighting low caliber opposition. Where Kenneth Cross, to his credit, has been fighting a little bit harder opposition. Took his licks in a couple of fights. I want to believe he's a state wrestler, and he fought on the show. Both guys I actually think fought on the show. Lance Lawrence, if I remember right, was it? Kevin Syler won to a decision and got the win there, but didn't look overly impressive, and I can see why they never really gave him the contract after. But definitely his path to victory, in my opinion, is getting the fight in the ground. Kenneth Cross, when you watch some of his fights, he gives off his back a little bit easily when he likes to explode back to his feet. I'm a little bit concerned about that. On the feet, he's got some nice straights. He's got some really nice uppercuts. I think it was Jonas Flock that he caught with a beautiful uppercut and knocked him out. Tough fight. I won't be betting this fight, I don't think, unless the line's completely off. This is a little bit of a hard one for me to pick. I think Kenneth Cross might be a little bit of a popular pick with some other guys that might make this, but I'm going to go with the undefeated Kevin Syler. I think if he can get the back, I think he can ride out minutes of the back, but I think he needs a finish. Obviously, we've seen this with Impa last week, that if you've had that opportunity in the Dana White Contender Series, you really need to try and take advantage of it the second time around, and he did that. I think he looked better than he did in his first fight, but I'm surprised he kind of got the contract. But he's a very smart fighter, is him. But he's going to be a tough guy to kind of game plan for coming forward. I'm going to take Kevin Syler. I'm going to take him. Actually, I'm going to take him by finish. I'm going to take him via submission, probably in early round number 3. But that's a tough fight. I'm going to be passing on that unless the odds are completely off. In that one there. Josh Parisian against Chad Johnson. Josh Parisian, you probably heard about a little bit. He was on the Ultimate Fighter. He was on the Dana White Contender Series before. He's a guy that's got a lot of experience, especially over his opponent. He's got double the amount of fights that he has, obviously in bigger opposition. In Aries, he was fighting that new promotion coming out of Africa that the head coach of Francis Ngannou runs. So yeah, he had that beautiful kind of spinning bat fist knockout of Greg Rebello. Went on to lose his next fight via Kimura, which was a little bit obviously not great. After you come out the Ultimate Fighter and you've got a little bit of notoriety, the UFC know who you are, and then you kind of lose there. But he's rebounded with some wins, all 5 via stoppage in the last year and a half, I want to say. But yeah, when you watch Chad Johnson, this guy's got an unbelievable frame. Look, when you see him, if you watch some of his regional fights, look at how long his arms are. You will find some fights on Fight Pass, and the guy's got some serious length in those arms. But again, he's fought very kind of low caliber opposition. fighting out of Rufus Sport, 6-1 record, all wins via knockout, and his loss was knockout. I think he hurt his wrist in that one, and Tavor Washington knocked him out standing against the cage. He hit him with some big blows, got him shook up. But I mean, he's not young, he's 34 years old, so he really kind of has to make this work now. I think he's a little bit light for a heavyweight. There was the fight I was talking about with Washington. He was that was for a cruiserweight title, so I think that was a 225 limit, if I remember looking into that one a little bit. So, like I say, he's got a massive frame, massive reach. I'm interested to see what his reach is in this one here. Parisian, to me, I think that if he can kind of weather the storm late, I think he could use his grappling to win this fight. I think that Parisian, maybe he's had his opportunity. He's been on Dana White's show. He's been on The Ultimate Fighter. This is his last big chance, in my opinion, of maybe getting into the UFC. Not unless he comes in very, very, very short notice, which a lot of fighters kind of are getting the opportunity to do so here. But he can be a guy that I think if he can take it to the ground and use some of his weight advantage, because I think he's going to have a big weight advantage. He's a guy that cuts to 265. I think he can win the fight through that. But I'm going to take a shot on Chad Johnson. I'm not super confident, because what I've seen of Chad Johnson, he's a lot of power, but he's very open to getting hit himself. Parisian's got, like I say, far more experience than what Johnson has. I'll take Chad Johnson via knockout, because that to me seems the kind of most likely way he's going to win the fight. We've never seen him really go past 2 rounds. So, but the experience of Parisian here could really come in here and kind of take over late in the fight. I'll take Chad Johnson in that one, but no, again, not really super confident. We are Orion Cosce against Matt Dixon. This is probably the fight I'm looking forward to the most. I think this is a really good fight. You've got 2 brothers fighting in this show as well this week. You've got the Lewis Cosce in the main event, and you've got Orion Cosce, both 6-0. Both have fought really bad fighters though. Like, the records of the people they're against is really bad. Like 8-45, 17-40. Like they've fought really bad opposition. In fact, they've fought opposition that both guys have fought. Like, so back to back, Orion fought, I think his name was Daniel McWilliams or something. Before that, his brother Lewis knocked him out in 7 seconds, and then he knocked him out, I want to say, I think it was 40 seconds. So, oh no, he Kimured him, that was it. He got him down to the ground, and then he started smiling because he knew he had him, and then locked up the Kimura. But that guy, they fought a lot of bad opposition. So they have Matt Dixon is a guy that I saw recently on the LFA show. Went back and watched some more of his fights. I'm pretty impressed by him. I thought his last win was really, it was a good win, because Justin Patterson, to me, is a really tough grizzled vet. 11-6 record, fought some tough guys. He's beat some UFC guys that are in there, like that Ramiz Brahimaj, who got his call and then his fight got taken off. But he's got really sound boxing. I think he's got great timing on his double leg. From what I can gather, Orion, his background is more wrestling and jiu-jitsu. I've seen that him and his brother went to Team Alpha Male a little bit. I've seen that Matt Dixon's actually spoken with Uriah Faber. He's been training with Mark Munoz, and getting some looks there. He's also been with Bryce Mitchell. So he's been getting some good looks with the grappling side of things. He's got a really good blast double. But I don't know, this to me, when I watched the Orion Cosce fight, I think it was against Wally something, I can't remember the name, but that guy it was his first pro fight, and there was a couple of positions where he got bucked off a little bit on the ground, where I thought, if Matt Dixon gets that spot, you're not going to get him off you, or you might be able to reverse, but you might give up your back in doing so. So on the feet, I think out the Cosce brothers, in my opinion, I think Orion is the better fighter. To me, just on the few things that I've seen. But Matt Dixon, to me, kind of passes all the kind of eye tests for me. 9-0, can get takedowns when need be. In that Justin Patterson fight, I should say, he did get hit a lot, like big power. So he's got a lot of, he's got some durability there, can take a shot. I like that. And I think when he needs to kind of mix it up, he can go to the grappling. So for me, I've got Matt Dixon. I want to see what his betting line is. That's the guy that I'm really kind of looking at betting line wise, where I think that if I can get a decent line on him, I think I might have a little look and see how things are going with Matt Dixon. To me, he looks like the better fighter, but Cosce, to me, out the two brothers, looks the better fighter. But it's hard to really pick him after the opposition that he's really fought. So Matt Dixon, for me, I think he can maybe get a finish, but I think a decision is more likely there. I think we'll see him in the UFC very shortly. He might not be through this, but I think he might get a short notice call up very, very soon. Cheyenne Bays against Hilarie Rose. Went into this one not expecting too much and kind of coming away not liking too much, but I think that initially I thought she might have an opportunity here, and then the more I watch Cheyenne Bays, I think that she's got better striking, I think she's got cleaner striking. I think that Hilarie Rose can be taken down, she can be dominated, and her back can be on the mat for a long time. If you watch the Rosa, I think it's Acevedo fight, I'm a little bit surprised she won that fight. I thought she had her back on the mat for majority of the fight. She did get a couple of nice sweeps, a couple of nice reversals. She landed some really nice ground and pound, which really caught up Acevedo in the back, and it was a bloodbath. It turned to a complete bloodbath. So I was a little bit surprised she got the decision there, but she's a lady who fights full-time. She trains full-time. She's got nothing outside of this. Cheyenne Bays is a girl who, she's married to another fighter, JP Bays, who I actually think fights in a couple of weeks on this show. Training out of Fortis MMA, you will see some fights from her in LFA and Invicta. And I think both girls have got a 4-1 record, I want to say. To me, Cheyenne looks like she's the pick in this one. To me, I kind of went into it thinking maybe Hilarie might be the pick. But Cheyenne to me, better striking. She comes from a taekwondo background. I think she can really throw a nice high kick up there. She can counter very well. She sometimes leaves her head, or she stays very stationary. If you watch the Helen Peralta fight, who to me, she's got some big power, so she has that Peralta, and she got dropped by a vicious left hand by Peralta en route to losing that fight. But to me, I think she can push her up, and she can really start to maybe hit her against the cage and really beat up on her a little bit, and I think that she will just win rounds through that. So Cheyenne, I think, depending on what the odds are, she might be a decent kind of a pick there, but I'd be surprised if the UFC give her opportunity in the UFC at this early stage. But I was surprised with Corey McKenna last week as well. I'll take Cheyenne for the win there. And in the main event, we've got Louis Cosce, the aforementioned brother of Orion, who's fighting early on the card, against Victor Reyna, who's getting his second opportunity here on the Dana White Contender Series. He came in last time against Miguel Baeza and really botched his weight cut, 178, so had no opportunity really to get into the UFC because they don't really allow that. But I actually thought he was really unlucky. He could have won that fight against Miguel Baeza. In the first round, he got dropped very hard, showed he's very durable, and very, very game, and then came out in the second round, was winning that fight. It was winning that round with some really nice, crisp counter boxing, keeping him on his long, straight left hand. Baeza was starting to fade a little bit. Then again, the last 40 seconds of that fight, and he kind of ate a knee and he went down a little bit, and then he ate a knee to the body, which sent him down. So I thought he was clearly winning that round until the 40-second mark of that second round, and then to me it was a toss-up. Maybe the bigger moment of the round actually came from Baeza. Went into the third round and he completely took over, and he was hurting Baeza with some big strikes. I think he was a little bit unlucky not to get a 29-28 decision there. I can see why they went with Baeza. Baeza's turning out to be a really good fighter. I think we'll see a lot of him. Reyna, in my opinion, it's now or never. He's got some names against, he's got some fights against some name guys that's in the UFC. Daniel Rodriguez he beat, and obviously went to that decision with Baeza. But there is a fight out there against a guy with a really bad record that he got knocked out inside like 20 seconds. He kind of ate a right hand right on the chin and he crumpled down a little bit, and that wasn't, I think that was right before the Baeza fight as well. So a little bit, I don't like that so much, but he's 34 years old, training out. I think he does a little bit of Fortis MMA. I've heard that in an interview. He was training with Saif Sayoud and Razak Al Hassan and so on. But I think he's very durable. He likes to really spoil you against the cage. He can keep you there for large parts of the round and really dominate through that. But very durable. Outside of that fight that I told you about where he got knocked down. But it's kind of now or never. To me, I've only watched two fights of Cosce. One was a pro one where he absolutely blitzed through him in 20 seconds. And the second was an amateur fight which he blitzed through him very quickly. I'm a little bit surprised actually that this is the main event. I thought maybe Dixon and the other Cosce brother Orion would be the main event personally. this to me, I'm seeing a lot of people just having a look through the forums and looking through Twitter, and everybody seems to be really, really high on Cosce. And to me, I'm like, I don't know how you can really be super high on Cosce without really seeing too much. Not unless you've seen. I've tried looking for his Kombachi fight, which he fought last year. I couldn't see that. So I've only seen a couple of things. I've watched some interviews. He's very, very confident, as you would expect from a 6-0 guy. Reyna's definitely got a lot more experience, fought better guys, and fought guys with winning records. So I'm going to take Victor Reyna, even though I think most people will probably be on Cosce, because I think there is a lot to like about what you've seen. But again, it's very, very little. I like the way he speaks, the way he sounds as well, him and his brother. So, but that's 2 undefeated guys against really bad competition. So I don't know the betting odds for this. It's not released yet. It's now like coming up to 1 PM here on Monday afternoon. I thought we might have had something through the night, but I'm going to take Victor Reyna. I think he can outlast Lewis Cosce and really win the fight through that. So, Buffo, my man, thank you very much. That's appreciated. Guys, I really do appreciate this. I love doing these Dana White Contender series. I love looking into new fighters, and I'm looking into the one for next week already. I might be back on later for my Munoz against Edgar predictions. It's probably more likely going to be Wednesday because I've got to go and pick up the daughter from nursery in the next 20 minutes. And I've got to probably spend the rest of the day with her. So I appreciate all you guys in the chats. Buffo, what's up, buddy? You're the man. All the very, very best. Enjoy the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series fights tomorrow. And if you're betting on it, I hope you all cash. Peace.